I've got some bad news for you. You may want to prepare yourself. In fact, you may want to sit down and take a deep breath. Well, why, you ask? I'm going to tell you why. Because every podcast episode isn't going to be perfect. In fact, there's going to be issues. There's going to be audio challenges. There's going to be guests that don't show up. Here's a good one. There's going to be times that you just don't feel like it. Well, guess what, friends? That is the content creation game. That is the podcast game. So the more that you can settle into the reality of the actual process of creating a podcast, the better off you're going to be. Now, I don't just share this with you as part of a gloom and doom approach to podcasting. Oh no, I do it in a fair approach to really help you understand the reality of what takes place when we set out to do a thing like launch a podcast. When I look back on my own podcast journey, all of those challenges always showed up. It was the best guest that I possibly could get for the show at the time, and my audio went kaput. It was the perfect conversation that was happening, and we were almost done, and the internet went out. It was that one day I woke up and I thought, you know what? I can't wait to get behind the microphone and start this conversation. And the more that the morning progressed, well, I just didn't feel like it. Well, I'm here to tell you one thing. And that one thing is, so what? It doesn't matter that something is going to show up that wasn't planned. It doesn't matter that there was a challenge or a hiccup. You know why? Because it's part of the process. That's why. It's only a big deal if you allow it to be a big deal. I really want to unpack this whole podcast process from a human/life level, not just go do this, go do that. Let's talk about what happens up here when we really set out to do something. Maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a blog, maybe it's a YouTube channel. I don't know what your thing is. You're probably here for podcasting though. And it would be kind of irresponsible of me to not share with you what really takes place during the podcast process. All this to be said, I'm not trying to discourage you. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm telling you the reality of everything that takes place with a podcast, the good, the bad, the different. At least that's my goal, so that you understand. Because once we understand what the process looks like and we know exactly what we're getting into, well, it makes things just that much easier. But here's the good news. You've got everything you need in order to be a successful podcaster. And success, well, that's in the eye of the beholder, in my opinion. Whatever you define as success is your success with a podcast. But don't get caught up in these vanity numbers and metrics and 1 million downloads. And most importantly, here's a big one. I'm going to do another video just on this topic, comparison. It was once said, comparison is the thief of all joy. I firmly believe that. I've experienced that, and I continue to experience it because I'm a human being. So I hope this video sheds a little bit of light on the process. Maybe you're going through it right now and you're like, wow, I can't believe I found this video at this very time. That YouTube algorithm is like magic. Well, if you found it and you're going through it right now, I'm glad that you did. If you're not going through it, well, just be aware that challenges could happen and take place when we set on this journey called starting a podcast. Remember, it's not about what you're saying on a podcast. It's not about why you're doing a podcast. It's about what people are getting from your podcast and who's actually being impacted. When we can ground ourselves really in that idea and that thought process of what I'm sharing could impact and change somebody else's life, business, all of the above, well, things tend to be a little bit different and we start to see things through a little bit different of a lens. But don't forget, you got this. Listen, friends, I hope you're leaving this video encouraged, not discouraged, encouraged about your podcast journey. Whether you're about to start, you just got started, you've already started, you've been doing this for a minute. The goal of this video is to encourage you. If you have any questions about this video or any other videos on the channel, please comment below. I respond to each and every one of you lovely people. It is my distinct pleasure. Until next time.